Hi, my name is Eden and I'm going to do my project on Hcat 112 regarding the interpersonal communication, and I'm going to interview Mr. John Van Sprunson. He is my previous employer, and yeah,
That's right.
and this is John.
Well, pleased to meet everybody.
Yeah. Hi, John. I would like you to if you can share about your life, because you mentioned before that you're um, immigrated from Holland.
That's right, yeah. I came in 1954, so that's a long time ago. And it took, we went across by boat, landed in Quebec. And I was very fortunate. I met this beautiful girl while I was on the ship.
Mm-hmm.
And she also went by train all the way to Vancouver. And by the time we got to Vancouver, I realized this was a very special girl. And someday I would like to marry her.
Yeah.
And that's what happened.
Yeah. And then, like, when you arrived here in Canada, where did you start your life? Like,
Well, we went by train to Vancouver, and I started in Vancouver.
okay.
And looked for. I was an electrician by trade, so I worked as an electrician.
Mm-hmm.
And like every immigrant, did different jobs at that time. Eventually moved to Dawson Creek, and that's where I'm here now.
Oh, okay. So, when you move here, you are married already?
Yes, that's right. So I met my wife, like I said earlier, on the ship.
Mm-hmm.
She was 18 years old and I was 21. And we waited for her parents to come, and my parents as well. And so that was a year later, so in 56, they were both, those days you had to ask permission, so we did, and they agreed that would be a good thing. So we got married in 1956, when both my parents and my wife's parents were here.
Oh, so your parents also came also here
They also came to Canada, yeah.
same as the parents of Jeannie, your wife?
Right, yeah, we were actually the pioneers, we came in first to open the doors, one person at a time. And Tini my wife opened the door for her parents and the whole family, and myself as well. So, we were very fortunate. Both my mom and dad came, and her mom and dad, and then we asked for permission to get married. Many years ago, you had to get permission. You didn't just get married. They hesitantly, no, not really. They gave me the okay, and it was tremendous, and we got married. And were married for many years.
Oh, so you start your family here in Dawson Creek?
No, we actually started our family. I had two sons in Vancouver.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, fairly soon after I got married, and then I came to Dawson Creek with two little boys, and eventually we got another son here at Dawson Creek, and a little later we thought it's very nice to have three boys. It would be very nice to have a little girl as well.
Okay.
So we adopted Jacqueline, who was my daughter.
Oh, that's really good.
Yeah.
So you got three son, like you got two sons in Vancouver, and then when you arrive here, it's add another one, which is
That's
the
right,
third, yeah. And then you adopted Jacqueline. Yeah.
And then I adopted Jacqueline, yeah.
Okay. So can you tell me about like how your job or how you start your business here in Dawson Creek?
Well, Canada is a land of opportunities, and I was always looking for opportunities, and there's an opening to, I worked for a roofing company and sort of learned the trades of the roofing trade, and there was a need for a roofing contractor right here at Dawson Creek, and there were some other ones as well, but they weren't doing all that good, so we had we actually became competitors, and eventually by the grace of God, we were successful, and so we changed names. Eventually, we bought a company called Henderson Roofing
Okay.
as well, and it all became one company. So we still have that today.
Oh, until now you still have that
Yeah, we still
business.
have that.
Yeah. So I heard about like the youth center, the ARC. Can you tell me about it?
Right. Yeah. At that time, there didn't seem to be a whole bunch of things to do. You know, if you had a gift for hockey, you could play hockey at the arena, or if you were good at any sports. But there are a lot of kids that like to skate, for instance, or like to play basketball, volleyball, ball hockey. But they weren't necessarily, either the parents didn't have time to take them to the arena back and forth. So there was a real need for a place where kids could just gather, for a variety of things. In addition to the sports, we also had an evening where you could do whatever you wanted to do, different sports and outdoor hockey. We had an outdoor hockey rink as well. So it worked out really good. See, Dawson Creek was quite isolated. It's a little better now, but there's always lots of kids, young people that fall through the cracks. Like I said, that aren't quite qualified or didn't feel confident to go into volleyball, basketball, and be the top of the team. There's only so many kids in a school that make it to the team, but there's still lots of kids that like to play their very sports. So we opened the door for them at the ARC to do sports of any kind.
And yeah, and I heard that they are doing also like if some kids like to celebrate their birthday party there.
Yeah, that's right. So because most of the activities are in the evening, so we're open in the daytime, and so we made it possible to rent a place for say an afternoon for 3-4 hours, Sundays, Saturdays, and that worked really good. People really liked it. So 20 or 30 kids would come and parents, and it was helpful for us because we needed some funds too. It cost money to operate a youth center, and the cheese, like they say in Canada, the cheese was very binding, so we had to find innovative ways to keep it going. And it's been going now for over 30 years, so we're very thankful for that. We're a Christian youth center, and we believe that God blessed us in doing that.
Yeah. And can you tell me about your wife, Tini?
Yeah, well, like I said earlier, I was very fortunate. We met this beautiful girl on the ship. Unfortunately, I got seasick, and that's not conducive to much of communication. But very fortunately, again, we landed in Quebec, and we had the same train all the way to Vancouver, and so we got talking, and she liked singing, and I did too. And my brother came with me as well, and so she had a friend. So the four of us, we found a quiet car, and we did lots of singing, and I started sharing about life, what I was about, my family, and Tini, my wife, shared about her family, and what that was like. So we really seemed to click, That the problem was she had to get out in Coquitlam. That was a mistake. The conductor said you have to get out here. And this was 4 o'clock in the morning, standing in a little place we couldn't even pronounce the name, Coquitlam. But she had somebody waiting for her, they call it fieldman, in New Westminster. Fortunately, she still had just enough money to get a taxi to New Westminster. But in the meantime, she's standing on the station, and we're gonna leave, and I'll never see it again. Big city, how would I ever meet her? So we made a date, and I took a gamble. I figured every town has a hotel named after itself. So, for instance, we had a Dawson Hotel here. We've had the Fort St. John Hotel. So I asked her if we could meet at 7 o'clock on a Saturday, the next Saturday, at the Vancouver Hotel.
Oh, okay.
And that's thank God for that she came, and many 4 children, and many grandchildren, and great grandchildren later. Here you're doing the interview, but
Yeah,
it was a
yeah,
good life.
yeah. That sounds really wonderful. Like, so when you moved here in Dawson Creek, so you're like you rent the place or you purchase your own house?
Yeah, when I came to Dawson Creek, I didn't have a whole bunch of money, so things were pretty tough. But we rented a little house, and like I said, we had 2 boys already in Vancouver, so it was big enough for them, and we fell in love with Dawson Creek and this whole country. I was born in a big city, but I liked the small town and people, and so we stuck around here. And later on, we got my third son, Tom. And like I said earlier, that we adopted our daughter, Jacqueline. And we've been very blessed, no credit of myself, but I thank God for that. And of course, my wife had, after a number of years, she got Alzheimer's, and I needed, it's something I couldn't handle myself, but it was a 24-hour job, and so I looked for some people that had a love to helping people, and it had a gift. It takes a special gift and a special person. I'm very lucky to find those people.
Yeah,
And you're one of them.
yeah. Thank you. How long you and Tini been married?
We've been married for just over 50. Well, we had our 50th anniversary. We were still living in Puskupi at that time, actually, and we were married for 60 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a long time.
Yeah, that's amazing, long time.
Yeah, 61 years.
Especially now. Yeah. And so your life, you built your life here in Dawson Creek, and you got a good business. I mean, like a well success business. And then so you moved her in. Your house previously was in Poscopi. Then you decided to move closer here in town.
Yeah, because I started a business in Dawson Creek, and it meant driving back and forth from Puskupi to Dawson Creek, you see. So then I built a house in Dawson Creek eventually. Now, when this happened, my wife already had the Alzheimer's, so it was important that I was close to a hospital, because quite often I had to rush to the hospital, and she had problems with breathing and other problems, so I was very fortunate. I could never handle it myself, because I was getting old in age, and I was so thankful that I could find good caregivers. I interviewed a lot of people. Not all of them would be good, but I found the ones that really are gifted to care for people. You being one of them, and so I was very thankful for that. And fortunately, eventually she did get pneumonia, and then we lost her some years ago here now. But I'm thankful for the years that we had, good memories. And,
yeah, I'm so grateful to be part of your
Yeah,
life
well,
and
yeah.
the life of Tini. And like with all of this, like when you're taking care of Tini when she got Alzheimer, like obviously you have a health support from your families, from your kids. Like I'm just wondering, like how you managed to do it. Like how did you, like where did you take your strength? Of course, I know your faith.
Yeah, it took supernatural strength, because I took care of the night, but it meant every time there was a little cough or a little sound, I had to get up. So I was able to we couldn't sleep together anymore because she had to have a place by herself. So, but I could race from one bed to the other in a record time, and so took care of her. I think I got the strength. Really quite supernatural. I don't know how I made it, but she was worth it. She was an awesome Also, wife, I was very thankful. Of course, like I said earlier, we met at 18, and with children, grandchildren, and all that. So the least I can do is care for her. But I did need the help, And in Canada, there's you are able to sometimes get good caregivers, but every 10 caregivers, there's probably only one that two. As far as I was concerned, it was good enough for my wife, because she was my very favorite person in this world. So, and I was very lucky. You were one of them.
Thank
and
you.
it worked out that way. I've been in hospital. I broke my neck one time, not from too much necking, but I just broke my neck in an accident. And I found that there's a difference between nurses, and but there is they used to use a term called TLC, tender loving care. Well, that's what I was looking for with TD, and you were one of them. There were other people too that had that same gift. So I was very grateful for that, So we still lived, even though we couldn't talk anymore. We went for drives every day. These are our caregivers, you being one of them, and there is hardly a road in the Peace River country they drive 20 or 30 different times, So we made I think that I don't know what the average age is for somebody with Alzheimer's, but I'm sure that we exceeded the average age, for TD. So I was very thankful for all the years that we still had, that we still could share. And I'm still very thankful because I got my boys stay in touch with me. Unfortunately, my daughter Jacqueline Jensen, she was married, so I lost her a short time ago. That was very sad. She got sick from one thing to another, bladder infection. It started out that way, and eventually she had liver problems, and she went to Vancouver General and Prince George and different places, but she didn't get healed. But again, I feel that there's more to life than what we see here, and that we will, I still have eternity to look forward to be with her as well as my wife. So that makes it a lot better.
I'm still single, and in the future I'm planning to get married. What advice can you give me?
Well, I think it's important before you get married that you talk lots, and see that you have a dream, but you have a dream, and your future husband has a dream, and you just want to make sure that you're on the same wavelength. If one person is absolutely nuts about sports, and that's all you can talk about, and you're not interested in sports, well, that could be a problem eventually, So I would say to spend quality time together and talk, and meeting parents on both sides is important too, because quite often when you meet the parents, that's where you came from, so so both parents on both sides. So I think it's important that when you're engaged to be married, or even before you're engaged, that you meet his parents or her parents, and I believe you probably have done that, and I would say then, personally, I have to ask me the question. I have to share that we pray to God to guide us and lead us, and I believe there is a God that loves us and loves you too. So, there's other people that got married and really wanted to be happy, and sometimes didn't work out. So I'm just thankful, because when we got married 21 years old, I didn't have a whole bunch of wisdom yet, and neither did my wife. She was pretty young too. So it's really the grace of God that we were as happy and had such an exciting life. We traveled together. We both enjoyed traveling, And I always felt that if the if the Peace River country was the only country, well then why travel someplace else? But I like places where there's mountains and hills and valleys and rivers, and every country has its own beauty. So we enjoy traveling, whether that was various places in the world. So that helps us, draw us together, brings us closer together as well, you know. And of course, when you have children, kids they can either be a problem, but if it's right, if you both love each other, and children come, well, that's a tremendous treasure, and that really, you know, adds to your life. If you're just two people looking at each other, it gets a little tiring. You need to have some kids that come in and observe with their strange questions and fun, and yeah, it's all good. It's the longer I could talk for an hour and a half just about that alone, you know, and when we have a chance, sometimes you have a little more time. We'll talk about it a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
But I think I'm very proud of you. I believe that you are you have a gift that you are born with. It's probably because you took care of your dad who had diabetes. That probably made you a strong person. You went to different countries, so your view was not just one country. You went to Lebanon, China, and different things. So I think that gives you a wider scope, you know. So that was I think that was probably a helpful thing, and I benefited by that because, you know, we had probably some still a little Dutch in us, you know, just some things that maybe just a little different than the Canadian way, you know, especially when it comes to food and so. But you have that too. So that my advice is talk. You know, talk. It's better to talk before you're married, but I believe you have already done that. You know, so I personally, I fortunately to know your husband a little bit, and I think you're probably going to be a very happy person.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. That I think I asked you, I think I covered all that I want to ask you. And yeah, I want to say thank you for your time, and hope to see you again. And thank you so much, Mr. Jens Van Spruiten.
You're most welcome. It's been a pleasure.
Okay,
That's for
thank
sure.
you.